Hey folks, today we're going to be talking about dividing polynomials by a constant with algebra tiles. Now, since I'm making this video, I don't have the physical algebra tiles in front of me, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw them in. Now I'm going to model them with pictures, and then I'm going to model these solutions with a symbolic answer. Ultimately, what we're hoping for is that we can get to the symbolic answer. So if you can go right from the question to the symbolic answer, then that is totally fine. You don't have to use those algebra tiles. But if the algebra tiles do help you, feel free to do that. Now I'm just going to focus on two questions. I'm going to focus on 1 and 3, and then the rest of this can be used as a worksheet that you can come and check your answers with the adults in the classroom. So let's start this off. We have 3x plus 6, and we're dividing this by 3. So if I were to draw this, I would draw my x, okay, and I would draw 3 of them. Okay, and then I have 6 boxes. So these are the red little squares. Now, since they're positive, we're coloring them in. If I were to group these into 3 groups, because that's what this division is, I'm saying group 1, group 2, and group 3. They're all equal. And what this question is asking is, how many or what is in each of these groups? So we know that the answer is going to be x plus 2, because each of the groups, when we split it up into 3 groups, we have 1x and then we have 2. So x plus 2. If we wanted to move directly into our symbolic answer, we would say, okay, so 3x plus 6 in brackets divided by 3. So I'm going to divide the 3x into 3. So I'm going to say 3x divided by 3. This is just a different way of saying divided by instead of using the division sign. And I'm going to say plus 6 divided by 3. What I get my answer to be is I say 3x divided by 3. Now if I'm having some problems remembering what 3 divided by 3 is, sometimes people say 0, sometimes people say 3, sometimes people say 1. Let's figure it out once and for all. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I can either say 1x or I can just simply say x. Okay, so 3x divided by 3 is x, and I say plus 6 divided by 3, which is going to be 2. So it's very similar to multiplying polynomials by a constant. Basically, you need to repeat the action for every single term in the brackets. So I divide the first term by 3, and then I divide the second term by 3. So with this one right here, I'm having a bit of a different thing, the x squared. So remember, those are the big boxes, the x's are just the skinny little ones, and the ones are simply little squares. So I'm going to be doing this, and I'm going to be dividing it into -3. So don't write this part down quite yet, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so these are all my of my x squareds. So now I'm going to draw my 3 x's. 1, 2, 3, and now I'm going to draw my little ones. So my 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I'm just going to color them the way that they should be in my bracket here. So this is +9, so all of these guys should be colored in. The x's should also be colored in because they're positive. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've drawn all of my my algebra tiles that I need, but I need to divide it into -3. Now, if I were to just divide it into 3 right now, I kind of have grouped them into 3 groups, so we can kind of see that. But the main question here is what happens with that negative? Well, what happens with a negative is in the brackets, everything that is positive becomes negative, and everything that is negative becomes positive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch up. I'm going to switch up all of the things that we've colored in. So none of my x squared terms are going to be positive. They're all going to be negative. My previous positive x terms are going to be negative. But since these guys were negative to begin with, we're gonna color them in. Okay, so now we've dealt with that negative, and now let's deal with the grouping of 3. So if I were to make 3 different groups that had equal stuff in it, I would group them like that. So what do I notice in every single group? So now I've dealt with the 3 as well, because I've grouped them into 3. So in each group I have negative 3x squared. So I'm going to say negative 3x squared minus 1x minus x plus 4. Okay, so that's how you do it with algebra tiles. Now I'm going to switch it up and I'm just going to do it symbolically. So if I were to write down 9x squared plus 3x minus 12 divided by negative 3, I would say I would divide each one of these terms into negative 3. So 9x squared divided by negative 3 plus 3x divided by negative 3 minus 12 over negative 3. 9x squared divided by negative 3, well, we know that it's going to be x squared, but what's going to happen to the coefficient there? 9 divided by negative 3 equals, it's going to be negative 3. So I'm going to say negative 3x squared. And now this one is going to be positive 3 divided by negative 3, and we know that the term is always going to be x. So 3 divided by negative 3 is going to be negative 1. So we're saying negative 1x, or I can just simply say negative x. Negative 12 divided by negative 3, so negative 12 divided by negative 3 is going to be positive 4. So I say plus 4. So either way you do it, you're going to be coming up with the same answer. See, negative, in each one of these boxes we have negative 3x squareds minus x plus 4, which is the exact same answer as we got here. So what I want you to do now is work on number 2 and number 4 on this page and show it to an adult in the classroom when you're finished. Then once you know if you're on the right track, you can flip over to the next page and you can complete these questions here.